staff, a new offensive mind hired this morning, players in and out. But where I want to start is I think where Vic Faust is happiest.
Where's that?
Eric Link is no longer a football coach at the University of Missouri, Columbia.
Okay, guys, Brendan, welcome. Happy Monday, buddy, to you too.
Hey.
Here's the thing. I only wanted him off special teams. That was I have said this several times. I wanted him to stay at tight end. I thought it was
it wasn't possible.
And it was exactly. Yeah, I mean, listen, it wasn't just me. It was several people. It didn't work last year. It didn't work the year before. But my goal and my dream didn't come true. I wanted Brock Oliva to take over. And somebody with a whole lot more from Florida State got that job. So Eric Link is off to New Mexico. I wish him the best. And I'm telling you right now, I know people who know him and they say he's an amazing man. Okay, great. I thought he was a good tight ends coach. I really did. Special teams, different story. So, yeah, there you go, guys. That's my deal. Brendan?
Oh, I think New Mexico made a slam dunk hire. I'm really happy for them. I think they crushed it.
It's never good as a fan when you hire a coach and all you see in the comment sections of the Pete Thamel tweet or the Ross Dellinger tweet is celebrations from the other fan base that he's leaving.
The only thing I tweeted was great hire, period. And that hopefully says it all without being terribly mean.
I saw you tweet that. I started cracking up.
That was my whole
that
tweet.
Was great.
You know what else? I thought Washington State made a great hire on their head coach. So
yes, they did.
I think everybody's making great hires this offseason.
Well, they did. I did see it. I don't know if that's what you were referring to, Grant, when it comes to Missouri with another offensive hire today. Who were you? Were you specifically talking about one?
Yes, so that would be one Alex Atkins.
Oh, yeah.
The school's next tight ends coach. He's a veteran coach who spent time last year at LSU, including he was the interim offensive coordinator, spent the prior 5 years at Florida State, including 3 years as offensive coordinator and 2 as own line coach. He also was an offensive coordinator at Charlotte. So a lot of experience.
Yeah, that's the one thing too, guys. I like how Eli did that. I mean, if you don't have to screw somebody over or throw them under the bus, don't. If you do, I get it. But they hired that special teams coach from Florida State, middle of last week?
Right.
And we all knew what was happening. Then they let Eric go get his job and do it gracefully.
I will bet you Eli Drinkwitz put in a great word with New Mexico. Like
I bet he did.
Earnestly, you said you don't have to screw anybody over. I think Drink has handled the offseason really well. I don't know how much of these things he chose, but if you get a chance to pump Kirby Moore's tires to go be a head coach, you probably do that. You know, if you get a chance to help Eric Link land on his feet, I'm sure he did that as well. PR and things of that nature are very important to Drinkwitz, and I think he's, at least as far as we can see from the outside, handling a lot of that really, really effectively.
Yeah, we would never see Drink come out and bash his guys because apparently him and Link were good friends. And Vic and I talked about this you got to find a way to fire your friends still. And he ends up doing that.
That's a great point, though. Brendan, what did you mean? There's a point that I have on what you said. What did you mean when you said you don't know how much of this was that he chose or not, talking about Drinkwitz?
Well, when a guy's contract expires, I think with the Link thing, that was clear. They hired Eric Link's replacement as special teams coach. So that was the direction they were looking to go in. But my comment was really more about the Kirby Moore one, where a guy takes an elevated role somewhere. He goes from an OC to a head coach. I don't know that that's Eli Drinkwitz forcing him out, but if it is, it's a really effective way of doing it. You know what I mean?
I got it.
The guy actually gets a promotion so that you have an opportunity to tinker a little bit. That was my point. Is I'm not saying that Kirby would have been fired if he wasn't the head coach at Washington State, but I think it worked out best for all parties that they get an opportunity to kind of revamp on the offensive side when it comes to the coaching staff.
The reason I was asking was because we remember Barry Odom, of course, was at Mizzou, head coach of Purdue. He just had to, quote, get rid of another former Missouri Tiger, SEC linebacker, Michael Shear out of MICDS in Mizzou. Very young defensive coordinator. Purdue had a bad year. I don't think it was Mike Shear's fault. It was his first year defensive coordinator. And when they went there, they said the cupboard was so bare that their team at UNLV would have trounced Purdue. And they're still struggling. But
It's a bad beat for Mike Shear, man,
but-
because he was with Barry for several stops.
and this
too.
is my point, is he and Barry are still tight, very, very tight. That decision, and this is what I thought you might have been referencing, but it wasn't. I think it was clear what you said, was that the administration at Purdue told Barry, listen, we're going in a different, that's the word, we're going in a different route. You have to make 5 changes on your coaching staff. And Mike was one of them, but they were still able to be friends and Mike, from all intents and purposes, respects Barry, and they're still friends.
Yeah, which is what it's a business. You can't. I don't think you can not be friends anymore because of that. I want to give. It's not Mizzou related, but it will affect Mizzou. Sam Levitt is expected to sign with LSU per Pete Thamel. That's just now breaking. The Arizona State quarterback expected to go down south with Lane Kiffin and company. Could have major impacts in the SEC.
He was my favorite, guys. Him and Cincinnati Sorsby. I loved him. I don't know what you think, Brendan, but it kind of shows you Mizzou. This is a Mizzou show. They had their guy early on, so we're going to find out. They chose their guy quick, didn't bring anybody else in, and it was over.
Yeah, I mean, I think that you as Eli Drinkwitz know going in. All right, Perbula. Here's another one. How much did they choose it? Did they kind of tell him, hey, you may want to look for greener pastures? Did he say, hey, I see the writing on the wall? You know, whatever. However that goes down, best for all parties that they move on. But that means you got to find your guy. Do you think, as Missouri, with the way that Eli Drinkwitz has talked so much about limited resource pile and all of these factors when it comes to NIL, are you realistically going to? You can have Sam Levitt for a visit. You could have Sorsby for a visit. They're making $4 or $5 million. Like, are you wanting to risk the Fernando Mendoza thing happening again, the Jaden Daniels thing happening again, where it seems like you've got a lane to get one of these guys, and then at the very bitter end, they end up going somewhere else for more money, and then you have to pivot? Or do you set out at a little bit of a lower tier in terms of price, let's just be honest, and from the very beginning, identify the guy that you think you can develop into the next? I think that's what they did with Simmons, rather than chase maybe above their pay grade with some of these guys, because you're right, Vic. I think those guys would have been great options, but look at where they end up going. And then look what the reported price tags will end up being. I just don't think it was as good of a usage of Missouri's time and resources to chase those and potentially swing and miss, and then at the very end of the portal cycle have to pivot to something lesser than Austin Simmons, who they feel good about.
Yeah, I completely agree with that.
I'm only upset about one thing when it comes to our money. Guys, correct me if I'm wrong. Doesn't it seem like Missouri is spending less than they have in years past? Or is it that the other SEC teams are spending more? We literally have Damon Wilson leaving not to go to the NFL, but to another team. And you look at all the guys that left, like Burks, that could have come back.
Yeah.
Why are we losing these guys? My opinion was we didn't spend as much money, or we gave it to a couple other players, running backs, and we have no defense. I mean, the guys that we're getting, they're not listed like in the top 15 or 20 of the portal transfers. I don't know the transfer portal that well yet. I'm trying to learn it, but it leaves me with a little gray feeling like, I'm not so sure.
Yeah, I think you swung and hit a home run with Woodyard, and now you're getting guys that you're hoping, you're finding some gems.
Is Woodyard a home run, though?
I think he's a home run.
The only reason I ask, guys,
he's an NFL player.
Okay, the only reason I ask is I thought he was great when we played him, but at the end of the year, he wasn't even starting. They were playing a younger guy over him, and I was like, holy, what? What happened? He wasn't there. They were playing a younger guy.
I think they had 2 middle linebackers that are pretty good, and they both. I think they run a 2 middle linebacker
all right,
set.
I thought Woodyard was getting less playing time in the last 2 games.
I don't think so.
Okay, that would make me feel better, but I thought that was the case, and I'm like,
let's see.
I'm like, well, okay, I see. All right, we got this, guys. Yeah, if they got the home run in him, then great, we got one. But man, there's so many holes to fill. I haven't seen. And maybe it was because I was looking at the guys Texas Tech and Indiana are signing.
They got Mark Cuban money over there.
Looking at his game log, really the last game versus Alabama was his worst game of the season. But other than that, all the other games are pretty.
Okay.
His stats are about the same. I don't know. I mean, you can't really look at playing time. I'd have to dig deeper. But, you've gotten some guys. Dante Simpson, a D lineman from Miami. Jaden Jones, an edge rusher from Florida State.
But they're not highly ranked guys.
No, they're not highly ranked, but a lot of them have some untapped potential. Hopefully, Nashawn Montgomery, a receiver from Florida, former 4-star guy. Like,
here's another one. You got guys in some cases who are coming off of injury who haven't played in the last year or so, where like there's a risk in that, of course, but also you may be getting a bargain on some of those players to try, because I think Drink knows you have to stretch your dollar and be able to land the depth that you need everywhere. So I hear what you're saying, Vic, but I also think like there's still time for more of these additions to be made. I was a little more hopeful for a splash on the offensive line that didn't really come. But depth there. What do you think?
That Atkins kid from Arizona State, he's made 40 consecutive starts.
I like him.
315.
He was a captain.
That's maybe not splash, but an experienced guy that can plug and start.
It's experience at a position group that actually experience is probably one of the most important things.
Yes.
So I'm okay with that. I'm not like concerned about the line, maybe a little underwhelmed, but I think it's specifically because I thought they could get Sprague from Michigan and he went back to Michigan. So
that was a bummer.
That's just what it is. You know, it's not like he left. He just was wanting to stay where he was.
Hey, he was up in Columbia recently at a field house, by the way, and my son was talking to him.
Yeah.
And he was considered, I'm just going to tell you, he was considering Missouri, like legitimately considering Missouri.
Yeah. And you know, I think the first guys you signed are probably your biggest get so far. Florence from Oregon. I love the safety from Notre Dame. I'm blanking on his name.
Jaden Jones.
Yeah.
Or not Jaden Jones. Jaden
Blair.
Blair.
Yes.
Or Jadon Blair.
Another corner from Auburn that has experience. You have this.
But they're not top-notch guys.
No.
That's what I'm wondering. We got top-notch guys before.
I know. And there's still time left. Transfer rule is not closed. There still will be more additions. I would imagine another receiver, probably another quarterback, a third-string quarterback. Like, there will still be some guys that come in. We'll just have to see. I think there'll be some secondary players, a couple more linemen as well.
Well, guys, I hope and I pray. I'm not over the top on it yet, and I guess we'll find out once they put together and get to spring ball. It's just no matter who they bring in, the defense is not going to look like they did last year.
No,
they're going to have to be a offensive-driven team. And the D coordinator is really going to be making his money this year because putting that many new. But you know what? I hope it's not just him, that it's other SEC schools, because we know that the SEC is tough. But then when you look at the bowl games, and I don't put it all in the bowl games, we know that we did not fare well as a conference when it came to that. And I'm wondering what the conference really has coming back next year, which was the point in me bringing that up.
Yeah. I mean, the SEC is the SEC. I think bowl games, they didn't fare well, but a lot of SEC teams maybe didn't have their the full amount of firepower they could have. But the SEC is going to be great again. I mean, the schedule's hard, but yeah,
I think the SEC gets hurt by the fact that the 10th best team in the league is still a really good team.
Yes,
and that is not the case in the ACC and the Big Ten.
I see that.
It's a lot easier.
I do see that,
to be top heavy when you don't have that gauntlet and like other. And it does get more difficult to continue to claim that when the bowl games don't go your way. But at the same time, I'm not convinced that these teams from other conferences could, that win 8 or 9 games could come into the SEC and even make a bowl in some instances.
I agree. So, but and you know what? They're not spending as much money as the teams in the SEC are right now either as a whole. I mean, look what Illinois did. Illinois had a good year. They won their bowl game. They beat Tennessee. But they started their quarterback search off very, very low when it comes to the transfer portal with money. Their number one position.
Yeah. What, you're saying Mizzou did?
No, Illinois.
Oh, Illinois, yeah.
Yeah.
I've really liked what Drink has done with this staff. I like hiring Atkins. I like getting Link out. I like hiring Garrett Riley, a offense coordinator at Clemson, come in, be the assistant. Like, you're getting a lot of experienced guys in the room to maybe help Chimp Lindsey out, to help the special teams. Like, I think that the staff building has been one of the bright spots of this offseason so far.
Brendan, how much money did you see at what the total was by chance? Missouri had a new allotment, a raise, so to speak, to add maybe $3-4 million. Anyway.
Yeah, they did.
And it doesn't seem like it's gone to, quote, raises. It's gone to new additions to increase.
Yeah.
I mean, you had 2 or 3 new guys in the recruiting staff just alone.
Yeah, are you talking like part of Drink's contract?
Yeah, the new contract. There was an
That
additional
was in there?
I thought it was 4 million, something like that.
Something like that.
That-
Yeah, and
Yeah, I
I
believe
think,
it was 3 was the number.
I think that ends up being like pretty interesting.
For staff increase, and now you're
Yeah.
adding more positions. Maybe
more
that
positions
weren't
and
there.
resources in that regard. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so as well. And I think that's why we're seeing more experienced guys. Normally you'd be hiring these type of offensive assistants, maybe a special teams coordinator from schools that, or maybe G5 schools, up and coming guys through that. Instead, you're hiring from some of the biggest schools in Division FBS. I think that's what having this new staff pool benefits that.
I've never seen this many coaches on a staff. It is, I mean, I guess this is the new age of NIL as well, where the more staff. And here's the other thing, guys. Missouri also, when they're recruiting, and I just know it for my son, because on a side part, and there may be something down the road, in Mizzou recruiting my son, when it came to a certain situation that he's being recruited for, they're like, listen, this is the best situation, because we have 4 different coaches that coach our entire defensive backfield. 4. And they're like, many schools don't have that many. We have so many more resources than other, quote, Power 4 schools here in the SEC because of the money we have, where our kids are developing into the most that they can possibly be. 4 coaches. 4.
Yeah.
And it's like, wow, they continue to put more and more money into it.
Yeah, they continue to put money in recruiting, and that's what they're going to have to do with the amount of money they put into recruiting in the transfer portal. You can't forget about the high school kids either. I want to ask this question, and we'll probably talk about this on almost every show. Has your opinion changed about the Matt Zollers, Austin Simmons situation? Do you still think, like, I think coming out, we all kind of thought Simmons would be the starter. Now that it's marinated a little bit. It's been about a week and a half since we heard the news. He just officially signed over the weekend following Ole Miss's loss. Do you still think Austin Simmons will be the guy in Columbia next year? Brendan, let's start with you.
Yes. I mean, nothing's changed. I've said I would peg it as like a 60-40 or 65-35 type of quarterback competition. I still think it'll be labeled as a competition, but I think Simmons is the one that I would certainly lean heavily toward. Yeah.
I don't think there's any way in heck Simmons is not the starter next year. I don't know what he was paid officially. Do you? Have you seen that, guy?
There's not
No,
been
I
an
have not
official.
seen that.
I would be surprised if there is.
There's no way in hell he didn't come here for under $2 million. No way.
Yeah.
No way. So
I mean, that would be huge.
especially with a
if it
no
is, he's
contact
definitely
tag
out.
on him. So
Yeah.
my point is, they didn't spend that money to bring him here with not being able to do it. We've seen Matt Zollers. He's going to get better. Austin Simmons is your guy to, quote, lose the job when it comes to spring football. And then, of course, even in spring, they're not doing a lot anymore. They're just not. They're not. I mean,
They're getting their feet wet.
you're going to find out maybe in the fall, and it'll probably be what Eli always does, right, guys? Well, we'll see. I'll announce
Play
it.
both in the first game, and
The
then
quarterback will reveal himself.
Yeah. What'd you have? Do you have something to add,
But
Brendan?
Austin,
Yeah. To the point that Vic was making about, are they spending as much? I think whatever they did with quarterback to make sure they got their guy right away, they obviously had to spend to do it. So you're allocating resources there. I also think they probably had to, like with the guys that re-signed, like I don't think Ahmad Hardy wanted to go anywhere else, but they made sure they kept him. Alubade, I bet, had to get a raise. There's guys that were on the roster that I think are going to take steps forward that they had to retain
Yes.
and spend on. So I still think that they'll have the money to get what they need for their defense. But I think that is a part I wanted to bring up is like, I don't think Alubade is making the same this coming year as he did last year. I'd be surprised.
So we've talked about this too when the portal opened, the wish list kind of. Now that you've seen how it's played out, Vic, what would you add? What's on the wish list still that you're hoping Mizzou adds?
An offensive lineman, like Brendan said.
Another offensive lineman?
Yes,
Okay.
I'm with Brendan 100%. And then, if possible, another defensive lineman of name, because I don't know. The problem is I haven't had a chance to watch video of these guys, and I don't know them. So then I'm like, I still am worried about defensive line.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you've got to have another receiver. I'm sorry. Because the receiver they brought in, I mean,
we don't know a lot about
Ah.
Goody. Goody will play.
He looks
We don't know a
fast.
lot about Washington.
Goody will be right into the slot that
Yes.
I hope,
Johnson
man.
was.
He's fast. He looks fast.
Yeah.
I mean, so I don't know. I mean, it's like, that's why these guys get paid the money that they do. I have been on this show and others talking about how good Drink is with the portal and how his guys have worked out. So I'm going to shut my mouth and wait and see. It's just hard for me to say, yeah, I'm an expert. This is exactly what they need. But for me, that's what it is.
Brendan, you got anything to add? Anything on your wish list?
Yeah, I mean, I still defensively want to see like an edge rusher, probably.
Yeah.
I know that they've got guys in that room that are, like I talked about, guys that they had to retain and pay to come back. But I think that that's another one that you want to have a dog if you possibly can to kind of replicate what Damon Wilson did. So like that'd be nice. There's a few though. There's still a number of things out there that you want to see him get done. But I think there's still time for that to happen.
But the other thing too, and I know these are just the final two teams and they have a lot more players, but look at Indiana, look at Miami, offensive lines, defensive lines, and they're playing for the national championship.
Yeah.
How has Missouri gotten so good in these years? Their D line and their O line a couple different years. Gosh, I'm a big O line guy, D line guy. Start there first.
And I think that's why I agree with Brendan about getting a guy that can rush the passer. Someone to replace that Zion Young, Damon Wilson role with some experience. To his point, there's a lot of guys they're excited about, but I want someone with a proven track record of actually getting to the quarterback. I also think they needed some DB help. I think just not saying they need to be star guys, just bodies. I think at this point,
Well, the star guys are gone.
yeah.
So
Well, I don't know. The
most-
secondary wasn't great last year. I still don't think.
after the first 3 games, you don't think so? I thought by the end of the year they were doing fantastic.
They were
I
okay.
agree with that. But
They definitely got better, yes. But it wasn't like it's not like they were superstars. Like it's not like you're losing respect to Toriano Pride, but he wasn't a superstar. Burks wasn't a superstar. Like you weren't losing guys.
I would
that,
take Burks back to anybody they
No,
brought
I
in.
agree with you, but I think that you can replace the level that the secondary was playing. I don't know if you can replace Damon Wilson and Zion Young, and you gotta find somebody that can.
Can I add one other thing before we get out of here on that?
Sure,
Your secondary, a lot of times, is as good as your pass rush,
exactly.
as you guys know. And if they don't have Wilson and Young and some of those guys rushing, it's more of a challenge to cover receivers in the SEC, and that's what we care about is the SEC. I'm a little concerned. That's all.
yeah, get more guys on D. I think they'll be okay.
Okay, I think so too. Defense and a receiver, maybe a O lineman.
Yeah.
Defense though. They've spent big already. They brought back their star receiver, they brought back their star running backs, and they brought in a quarterback.
I want to see it all. That's the only thing about NIL now. I want to see how much money's actually going out to what players.
Well, I would. That's what I think with NIL. What's next is that we'll actually be able to see the contracts. We'll see what it is, all that stuff. But it's weird because it's like
I want to know what Illuminate's making.
we don't know what NIL even is. Is it that the school's paying them? Aren't they supposed to be paying them through their?
They don't know yet either, though. Guys.
Exactly. Aren't they supposed to be paying them through them appearing in things,
supposed to be
being sponsors for things? Like,
above and beyond 20 million, I thought was supposed to be paid by third party vendors.
exactly. And
Yeah, but
nobody
they
knows
got to
how
know
that
whether or
works.
not that's going to be approved by the NIL Go clearinghouse, and those guys don't really do their jobs, so it's kind of all up in the air. Nobody really knows.
Nobody knows.
I mean, for real, that's kind of where
I
it's
know.
Nobody knows. There's no guardrails. There's no parameters on this thing,
I know.
and you don't have to follow your contract. Heck, you probably could not even pay the players, and you'd be fine.
No,
still.
I will say it was encouraging that Damon Williams had to go back to Washington. Like,
Yes,
that was.
whether he had to or not, that was the result without much fanfare. So that was good to see, because otherwise you really could have opened up a can of
Yeah,
worms.
but what
Yeah.
about Chambliss and Ole Miss being denied?
See,
But that's a
weird.
different category.
Yeah.
It is a
Like,
different
you
category.
tried
You're
to-
right. It's more news from the SEC.
Yeah, and it's also not. It just shows there's not a lot of consistency with who gets their waivers approved versus denied. It doesn't really always stand to reason.
Pavia got, 2 extra years with this JUCO thing? And
I don't know. I assume he's lifetime eligible, and they'll have him back in September.
Randy Carricker said to me, just let them play for as long as they want. Just play forever for all I care.
Stop it, Randy. Randy's so smart. Come on, Randy. Stop it.
Think with Trinidad, it's weird because he didn't play that year. Why was he not given a medical red shirt?
Did you hear the specifics, though?
Because
it was a
respiratory
coming, but it wasn't coming specifically from medical doctors, the information they provided.
I'm saying back then in 2021 or 2022, whatever year it was, why was he not just granted a medical red shirt there? Why didn't he apply for
I think it was because of the doctors, and it could have just been because it was at Division II and they didn't know what they were doing.
So weird. So strange. If you have a Missouri Tiger wish list, call on it 855-282-8255. Have your opinion heard right here. We're going to go to a quick break, come back, talk a little more Missouri football, and dive into what we saw from the basketball team over the weekend. 2 steps forward, 1 step back from the Missouri Tigers and the Disquick Gates squad. We'll be right back here on the Lou Information Station.
The Lou Information Station, a whole new way to enjoy content created just for those of us in the St. Louis area. It's a whole new way to advertise and promote your business. Reach out and find out just how different we are. If you're tired of one-sided advertisements or your traditional media rep trying to shove digital marketing down your throat, visit louinfo.com and click on advertising. Or email partnerships@louinfo.com for more information.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
At Brown and Crouppen, we get that after an accident, money's tight. That's why we offer so much for free. First call, free. First consultation, free. Stuck at home or in the hospital, we'll come to you for free. So call Brown and Crouppen, where we don't get paid unless you do. And your first consultation is free.
When you buy a hot tub, you want more than bubbles. You want value that lasts. At St. Louis Hot Tub Warehouse, their low overhead means premium American-made products priced better than the competition and the best price guarantee in town. They'll beat any local dealer on a comparable model. With over 38 years in business and 400-plus five-star reviews, you can trust they'll be there to service your spa long after the sale. St. Louis Hot Tub Warehouse. Highest quality, best price. Visit besthotTubPrices.com today.
LouInfo.com news headlines brought to you by Brown and Crouppen. GetBC.com.
With your LouInfo.com news, I'm Jared Sorello. A man is in the hospital after being shot by a sheriff's deputy in St. Clair County. Illinois State Police said deputies responded to a stabbing near Belleville Sunday morning when they found the suspect walking nearby with a gun. The suspect reportedly pointed the gun at deputies, at which point he was shot. 4 people in custody after authorities said they broke into a church and tried to steal money meant for tornado victims. Police in St. Louis say the incident happened at a church in the 4300 block of Margaretta. Officers responded to the scene and reportedly caught the suspects going through boxes of donations. And the search continues for multiple monkeys on the loose in St. Louis. Health officials said the primates believed to be vervet monkeys have been spotted in or around O'Fallon Park. It remains unknown where the monkeys came from or how long they've been in the area. We're streaming 24/7 at louinfo.com. I'm Jared Sorello.
Now, LouInfo.com weather. Presented by STL Sports Central. St. Louis sports. Anytime, anywhere.
Here's your LouInfo.com weather update. We're looking good today. Low 50s for the afternoon high. Lots of sunshine. High pressure moving in from the Central Plains. About 40 and clear for the overnight hours. We will have a little bit more cloud cover on Tuesday, but still mild. Going up to 60 and a little bit breezy. Cloudy and cooler Wednesday. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton for the Lou Information Station, streaming 24/7 at LouInfo.com and the free Lou Info app.
St. Louis sports fans, now you can go deeper with STL Sports Central Insiders. Get exclusive access to Bernie Miklasz, Randy Carricker, Mike Claiborne, Jamal Mayers, and more. Plus, your chance to watch a Blues game in the alumni box with Jamal himself. Also, monthly giveaways, Bernie's columns all week, and you'll be supporting local sports media. Join now at stlsportscentral.com.
This message is presented on behalf of Delmar Mortgage. When it comes to buying or refinancing a home, everyone's situation is different, and having the right information can save you real money. Delmar Mortgage helps you compare options side by side, understand the cost of waiting, and see when refinancing may actually make sense for you. Get your no-obligation quick quote at savingthelou.com.
Individuals may have been compensated for this message. For licensing information, visit NMLSconsumeraccess.org. Delmar Mortgage, NMLS ID number 30998. Delmar Mortgage is an equal housing lender.
When it's time to bring the energy, don't fake it, fuel it. Drink Thunder is the all-natural, plant-based, fruit-based pre-workout drink that gives you real results without the junk. No sugar, no crash, just clean energy, powered by nature, and loaded with vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants to help you perform at your best. Go to drinkthunder.com and grab your favorite flavor: orange mango, blackberry lemonade, or strawberry cream. Drink Thunder, the clean way to power your workout. drinkthunder.com.
And we're back here on MIZ Central on the Lou Information Station. We're live and on demand at LouInfo.com. Check us out on YouTube at LouInfo. And we had some playoff games over the weekend, and man, is Indiana good. I mean, they just rolled Oregon. Absolutely torched them. It was unbelievable.
Second best team I've seen play college football besides the 2019 LSU team. And here's why I say it.
Really?
And I'll
Even
tell you
some
why.
of those Nebraska teams in the 80s?
The ones that beat the hell out of me.
Yeah.
Well, not in the 80s, but the 90s.
90s, yeah.
Yeah. And here's why.
Or early 2000 Miami teams?
Just because the teams that I saw them, they would even make mistakes. There'd be opportunities for you to do things. This Indiana team, I don't know what it is. They're always in the right spot. It's like they know on defense, they know the play that's coming on offense. The right defense is called almost every single time. On offense, the right play is called every single time. Mendoza, I'm telling you right now, Mendoza does not have to make tons of like incredible throws. He's got
You're right.
wide open receivers, and his receivers seem to be covered a lot. And the player, Surratt's making plays, Becker's making plays. I've just never, it's like
That Becker's a freak.
all I see
love
is a
that
team
kid.
that just, and then they just methodically dominate you. They don't make mistakes. That's why I say they're one of the best teams I've seen, not talent wise. And I want to see if these guys get in the NFL, because you're talking about 40 plus guys with 4 years of experience playing. They're older college experience players, but they don't jump off film to me. They just do everything right.
You know what feels
don't you think NFL coaches will like that about him though too?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Like, I think there's something, and we talk about it more lately with the quarterback position in the NFL, where guys are coming out and they're not ready for the leap, and so we see those guys kind of struggle to find their footing. But I wonder with other positions, when you have that type of experience and you played under Cignetti, like this is going to be kind of the first
I can't wait to see
opportunity
that.
for us to see like what does the Cignetti tree do? We know those Alabama players under Saban just littered across the NFL. I'll be very curious to see, like you said, what Cignetti's guys become, because it's very possible we just overnight are witnessing one of the greatest college football coaches ever. Just like instantly.
Yeah.
Cignetti's guys are just that good. You know?
And you know what's weird about Indiana? Why it feels weird is like I barely watched them in the regular season. Like I'm scrolling through this. Granted, a lot of times they play at the same time as Mizzou. I didn't want to watch them. I wouldn't flip to an Indiana game when they're killing somebody by
they
40
were just
points. Like
brutalizing people.
I watched the Oregon game. I watched the Iowa game. I think I watched Illinois, and then I watched the Penn State game, like the fourth quarter of it. And then obviously the Big Ten championship, like 3 to 4 Big Ten games, but they've just won the Big Ten so bad no one can be competitive. And 2, they're just that good.
Think about what they've done this season. Now I know they didn't have some impossible schedule, but they beat Oregon, who was one of the best teams in the country at Oregon. They beat Ohio State in the same year to win the Big Ten title.
Yeah.
They crush Alabama to the point where people are like, Alabama's not good, but look at who Alabama beat this year, the top teams in the country. Then they turn around and absolutely crush Oregon, who was only a 3.5-point underdog. That's why I put them up there, because they are just
Insane.
they are methodical. and you look at how they've won and who they've beaten this year and who those teams have beaten, and maybe there's just no dominant teams in college anymore because of NIL, but you're looking at one in Indiana, and I don't see how Miami has a chance.
I think Miami will play them close-ish.
What's that spread right now? It was like 7.5.
It's 7.5, and I could not believe it was not higher after what we watched them do to
I will say it's
Oregon.
a little bit of a reactionary line because after Miami won, it was Miami +5.
Okay.
Is what the hypothetical line was. And then after
the reaction was to how badly Indiana beat Oregon.
Yes.
And I thought if I would have seen like a 9.5 or something, I really would have thought about Miami. And 7.5 isn't far off from that. We'll see where it moves. I was saying this during the Indiana game, like, wow, Oregon is making some mistakes that are going to make this more lopsided than it is.
Yeah.
By the end of it, it was of course lopsided. Indiana way outplayed them, but like fumbling on your own 10-yard line, like Dante Moore did. You had obviously the pick six. Like
they handed them like 21 points.
They did.
Yeah. To where I was like, if that gets a little bit overly exploited, like Miami on their best day is going to stay within that spread, even against Indiana. We've seen too many times of Miami not playing their best. They did against Ole Miss offensively. Defensively, not as much, but like Ole Miss might have just been the best offense in the country. So I don't know. I'm not sure that I won't take Miami in the points. I don't think I can touch the money line. Indiana's going to be your national champion.
I think Indiana's going to win, but I think it could look like the Ohio State game where there's just not a lot of points, and Miami maybe covers like 14-7.
Miami better
scored no matter what, though. The only time Indiana has not scored was the Penn State game, and like
Ohio State
won.
But Ohio
they scored 13 points against Ohio State.
Yeah, but that's a conference matchup. I hear what you're saying. Miami can play that type of defensive struggle and be okay in that game. We've seen them do it against Texas.
Well, Miami needs to be healthy. Their defense was beat up at the end of that game. Very beat up. Didn't they have 4 backup secondary members out there?
And they played well. The true freshman came in and won them the game. Let's move on. We'll talk about the national championship next Monday when it's happening. Let's talk about the Missouri Tiger basketball team because after a great week, a little bit underwhelming finish, they lose 76-69 against Ole Miss. Much closer game to that. Got out of hand a little bit at the end with a bunch of fouls committed by Mizzou, but they dominated the first 10 minutes of the game. It looked like, man, this team is hot. Maybe they're going to run away with it. They shot very well in the first half, and then things kind of fell apart. We saw Anthony Robinson go 2 for 9, 0 for 3 from 3. That's a guy that Mizzou's going to have to rely on this year to play well. Things went bad in the last 10 minutes of the first half, and they just couldn't quite correct it in the second half. They stayed in the game, but they couldn't find that one shot to put them ahead. What'd you see, Brendan?
The free throw shooting
12
is
for 24.
It's pathetic. If I weren't becoming a dad for the second time tomorrow, I would issue and say, let me come out to practice and I will challenge them to free throws. And I haven't shot a ball in a year, but it doesn't matter. It's embarrassing, guys. Because this is what they do for a living. And we can say that now because they're getting NIL money. It's embarrassing. You shoot balls for a living. Make your free throws. And like guys that shouldn't have any business missing free throws are missing free throws. It's not just your bigs who can't make them. Your guards can't make them.
Sean
guys
Phillips,
like Boateng, I don't need to see Boateng play another minute the rest of the year.
No,
I think I'm right with you.
I'm over it.
And the front ends of free throws.
It's ridiculous. Are they like, what is it? Because this is, it has to be coaching at the end of the day.
Thank you.
Asinine.
But
I know what you're going to say.
I can't go shoot the free throws for you.
Exactly.
But there cannot be a free throw shooting team this bad at this level of high major college basketball.
But Gates,
just not.
like the first 2 years of Gates, they were some of the best free throw shooting teams in the country. The year they went 0-18 in the SEC, they were the 6th best free throw shooting team in the country. Last year, they were bang on average, which is fine. They were like ranked 100th and 20th, right?
Yeah, they were bad
average.
last year. I know what the ranking was, but you got to be better than even they were last year.
And this year, they're bad.
It's embarrassing.
It's bad.
Actually embarrassing.
0-3 for Sean Phillips, 5 for 8 from Mark Mitchell, 2 for 4 for Anthony Robinson, Jaden Stone 5 for 7, Honor Boateng 0 for 2.
Guys, the other
100 free throws. Me and Honor Boateng. Let's go right now. and I think I've got a shot.
Would you beat Sean
That's how
Phillips?
bad it is. Well, Sean Phillips, yeah, I'll shoot him right-handed against him.
Yeah.
But guys, the problem is this: it's
You're a
always
lefty?
it's
Yes.
nice. It's always on the coach. I'm sorry, it's
Yeah.
always on the coach. This is why I am asking publicly for Dennis Gates to give up his game paid check to a great charity in Columbia, Missouri, because his guys can't make free throws. And how much do you want to bet?
So anytime they lose, he has to give up his game check?
Nope.
Yeah,
only
is
this
this
like
like
a-
Vic? I haven't heard this before.
well, no,
He did this for Mizzou every
I
time
call
they
out
lost.
coaches when their players are idiotic or they make stupid calls. They need to pick out a charity in Columbia and help somebody out because they get paid enough and give up their game check. And watch what happens. Watch how quick those mistakes are corrected.
I
am
like
a-
doing shows with Vic because he takes it even farther than I do
Yes.
sometimes. Which is
I am
great.
a big
love it.
believer in deterrence. Deterrence work.
Oh man.
If Dennis Gates had to pay $1 million or offered to pay $1 million because his guys are the worst free throw shooting team in the conference at 67%, I promise you within 3 games, they would increase that to about 77%.
Okay.
I promise you it would happen. Not only are they last in the SEC, guys, they're like 300 in Italy.
It's unfathomable.
Is there anything more infuriating as a fan in any sport watching your team miss free throws?
I don't think so.
Like
That's a
me-
great question. False starts in the NFL, you don't like to see those.
Missed kicks?
Missed extra points.
Yeah,
Missed kicks.
missed
But
kicks
you
this
know
year
what the
from
difference
Mizzou?
is? Here's the difference. I can't go out and kick a 38-yard field goal with 100% accuracy. I can't. But I can make 75% of my free throws.
It's a good point.
What are we doing?
I'll go.
I'm 5'7" and fat. What are we doing?
Fat's a
You
little hard.
play basketball for a living.
I played high school basketball.
You've been shooting
Exactly.
free
I'm
throws
sounding
since
like
you were
Charlie
8
Marlowe. I'm
years.
so fired up about free throws.
I
Free.
think that maybe up there and most infuriating is missing field goals inside 30 yards.
I don't think, but that's not fair because if I can't walk out there and do it
Ah,
myself,
Oh,
You
I
know
don't
what I
know.
mean?
That's a good.
You
Dang,
were
that's-
bad after Robert
Oh.
Meyer banged the 29-yard
You know what?
field
I
goal
was
off the
sad.
upright.
No, I get sad more than anything after missed field goals. I get sad. I don't get mad.
I follow you, Grant. You know why? Because kickers shouldn't be on the field anyway. So
Oh, kickers are people too.
I don't endorse that.
Athletes
I don't
do.
endorse that comment.
Okay,
Oh,
so
boy.
grand scheme of things, let's zoom out 100-foot view. The last 10 days have still been very, very beneficial for Mizzou basketball. We didn't get to talk about it. They beat Kentucky on Wednesday at Kentucky. A great win, a season-changing win following a victory over Florida. They're 2-1 in the SEC. If they go 1-1 each week, they probably make the NCAA tournament. I mean, that's what you got to do. You got to stack wins. You have their next 4 games are all very, very gettable. They have an Auburn team who's still good. The new coach, Bruce Pearl's son, they're going through some things. They just killed Arkansas at home. You have a tough test against them at home, but you're at home, which you've played phenomenal at. You're at LSU, who their KenPom ranking's still high. It's all fraudulent. They're not that good of a team. They will be by the end of the season a bottom dweller in the SEC. You have Georgia at home, good team, but you're at home. And Oklahoma, who maybe is the worst team in the SEC at home. So, I mean, you could win 3 of those games, and we're feeling very, very good about ourselves going into a really tough game at Alabama. I mean, that's what's happening right now.
Yeah, I'm bummed about the loss.
Yes.
I said it would be like the expectation should be to win that one, but things happen. You understand that. I really would like to see him get Auburn to get back on track.
Yes.
I'm taking them more 1 to 2 games at a time, and I was looking at Ole Miss, Auburn, going, all right, if you get 1 of each, then you're still okay. And so that's kind of where I'm at. Is I really would like to see him go ahead and just get back on track by beating a solid Auburn team that's got its new coach, and so they're going through whatever they're going through as well. But they're still a good team.
You got to take it week by week.
And
That's
win the
how
home
I do
games.
it.
That's the main
Yes.
thing.
I was
win
depressed.
the home games that aren't against a Vanderbilt, and you'll be okay by the end of it all. But Ole Miss just getting that one because they're one of the lesser teams in the
They
SEC,
are.
and I know it's hard to win on the road, but that would have been a really nice boost.
Yes.
To be like, hey, we're 3-0, we're banking some of these wins before we get into some of the tougher teams.
I was depressed watching, and then I reminded myself this is about making the NCAA tournament. And the schedule sets up for them because the SEC is not impossible anymore, not like last year where it's all still right there in front of them. And like Grant said, you're like, this is going to be a different team when they get Stone and Pierce back. You said it, and they are.
Stone's awesome.
They're a different team with those guys. The other thing that gives me hope, as frustrated as I am with Dennis Gates and his team's free throw shooting ability, then how this is possible, I have no idea. They're also the number one field goal percentage shooting team in the SEC. I don't know if I've ever seen this happen. A team at this point in the season's number one in field goal percentage and dead last in free throws. And they're fourth best in 3-point shooting. None of it makes sense.
Yeah, I don't understand. This team's an anomaly. This seems so weird because it would be the most Mizzou thing ever if this is a team
that is Mizzou.
that wins an NCAA tournament game. Like, it would make so much sense for them to win a game in the NCAA tournament.
Super possible. In like an 8-9 game or like a 10/7, if they can kind of get to that level, I certainly could see that. Because like the week they had against Florida and Kentucky, that team wins a game or maybe even makes the second weekend. If you play like you played, up until that point, you're completely toast. But they didn't have Pierce until that point. They lacked Stone for some of the more meaningful games in that stretch. So
it's also totally possible
yourself
that they could win 6 games in the SEC.
They're too good. They're going to win.
I think so too, but I'm just saying, like,
and I've changed after watching them play. They're too good. They're too good for that. They've already shown us how they can shoot. Now
they're 3-0 if they can make free throws.
Well, there's the free throws. I don't know if that just changes or not. Let's hope. But the thing that Grant brought up earlier, it's Robinson. Robinson had his worst game on the worst night. Yeah. And there you go.
Need to get Cruz going a little bit too.
Sometimes.
Find a way to get him open because the last 2 games, Cruz literally has just not shot the ball. It's not that he's shooting poorly. He went 1 for 3 against Kentucky, and I believe he shot 4 times against.
I'm honestly okay with that.
Yeah, but you know what? Isn't it the addition of Stone that changes that?
Yes,
that's what I thought.
Yes,
and
I think that's fine. If he's only shooting 3 threes a night, hopefully he makes 2 of them. But if he makes 1 of them, then fine. I don't need
2 for 6
to be like a focal point. I don't think you won with that.
Nope,
so I don't.
They're done it.
I agree with you. Yeah, and maybe there's a night where he's hot and you let it fly, and we'll see that. We will see a game that Jacob Cruz probably makes 5 to 6 threes.
It'll happen once, but
And
they've also
let it
used
fly.
him in other ways.
Yes.
They used him more because of a size mismatch. He was making shots on the inside against I think it was Florida. So like they'll use him appropriately and hopefully he'll be hustling on defense and rebounding and those sorts of things.
That's the biggest thing with him is his defensively. He's a little inept. So Mizzou takes on Auburn Wednesday. We will preview it. Britton will not be with us because Baby 2 is on the way tomorrow.
Congrats, buddy.
That's the plan.
Bless your family.
We'll see you guys soon.
Bless that baby.
All right. Well, I hope we have health. Oh my gosh, if I could speak.
Really, Clyde.
Healthy mother, healthy baby, and happiness all around. So keep us updated. Vic and I will be here on Wednesday previewing the Missouri Tigers versus the Auburn Tigers. For Brendan Schaefer and Vic Faust, I'm Grant Salzman. Up next, it's Charlie Tuna and the Posse.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision. It should not be based solely on advertisements.
Not sure how to get a lawyer after an accident? Call Brown.